Everybody ready to go? Ready to rock and roll? Good evening and welcome to the month of June. It's hard to believe here we are, and we are ready to move on with some very good things to discuss this evening. We always like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, so I'll ask that all rise and please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. And at this time, we would ask that you join us in a moment of silence that you can use for silent prayer, for reflection, to prepare for the meeting, or however you choose to use that time. Thank you very much. At this time, we do have minutes from April 28th and May 12th. Let's start with April 28th. Council, were there any adjustments to those minutes that needed to be made, or do we have a motion that we approve as submitted? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? And the minutes from May the 12th, do we have any changes, or are those to be a motion to be approved as submitted?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. At this time, we would like to open the floor for citizen comments on public matters. This is your opportunity to share with the council and the community some of your concerns and thoughts regarding things happening in Radford, questions that you might have, things along that line. We ask that you come up to our podium, use the microphone, state your name for the record, and be sure to limit your comments to 3 minutes or less. And I think we've got our timer up on the wall here, so we will open the floor for public comment.
Hi, my name is Beth Barber, and I do live here in Radford. All right, I've been in income-based housing now for about 2 years. I moved into a smaller place, like an efficiency, almost a year ago, and my rent went up. That makes no sense, but that's a HUD issue. But my utilities have skyrocketed, and I know you guys are hearing this from everybody. But that's a Radford City issue, which is obviously why I'm here. And although it's technically not anybody's business, my income is $1,015, and that's per month. Not hourly, daily, weekly, or anything. That's monthly. My rent, like I said, was increased to $195. Now, my last electric bill was $193, and 63 of that was this fee that we're all getting. Even without that, 63 of that was the fee. It's still really high. But a few months ago, I had a $500 bill. Like I said, my apartment's basically an efficiency size, so that was really high, especially when that's like half of my income. I was able to get assistance for that, but if there wouldn't have been any help, I don't know what I would have done. So sometimes I clean homes to be able to get car repairs and that kind of stuff done, because those get costly too. So I don't, even though my income is based and very small, I don't know what I would do if the utility bills keep going up. Like, I'm going to be stuck. And obviously that affects everybody else too. But I don't know how someone on a fixed income is supposed to function if they keep getting higher. And I do wish more people would come in here and comment about this, because like I put on Facebook, there's a lot of venting on here. I wanted people to come and kind of speak up, and I guess the best comparison is going to be the voting. Like when we vote, if you haven't come and said anything, or if you've chosen not to vote, then just be quiet and go away. And this is a random question. I was going to the aquatic center, and I know this is really small, but the fact that we're having to pay in July, is that because of something that Radford's not does that have to do with this?
We'll address that. You finish what you have to say, and then we'll
Okay.
address it at the end. Yeah.
Okay, and then the only other, well, it was mainly the utilities that I wanted to address. And then I was going to bring up also, it's, like you said, it's June already, so it may have been close to a year ago, but I'd come in with a petition about a bus shelter on Midkiff Lane. I'm guessing, well, I was just going to say, I'm guessing that's probably not going to happen, but I'm just bringing that up to ask again. So, that's all.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for coming to share with us, and we
Well, thank you.
appreciate you. I'll do my best to answer a couple of things. First of all, the Aquatic Center. We had an agreement with Christiansburg to pay a certain amount to allow our residents to be able to utilize the Aquatic Center. Unfortunately, with the budget situation the way that it's been, that was one of the pieces that we had to eliminate as part of our package because we didn't want to raise fees and taxes and electric and utilities higher. So that's been a tricky part. Unfortunately, we've had to shift that from being a community-based paid item, which certainly we appreciated having while we had it, to something that individuals would have to work out on their own if they wanted to utilize that. For the utilities, that is a much trickier story, and anybody that's been following this has seen that we've really struggled with that ourselves. Our utilities were so low, for example, on the water side, that we couldn't qualify for assistance to improve our water system because our rates were too low. And so it actually cost us money to be that inexpensive. So we had to look at some of those elements. And then the electric piece has been really tough because we're a wholesale power purchaser. So that $63 I believe you mentioned, that is a wholesale power adjustment that we have to pass through that gets sent to us. So even though we have an agreement with our power providers, they can get a fuel adjustment charge to say this is what it's costing us to generate fuel or for us to recover our costs, and that's passed through. So I think that kind of covers most of it. Mr. Meadows, did I leave anything out? Okay. But that doesn't solve your problem, and I do recognize that, and we struggle with that for all of our residents because we know whether it is a tax dollar or a fee or a payment for a service or anything along that line, that that's money that you can't spend in other parts of your life or may not simply have. And we struggle with those decisions every single day. I think one of the things I would suggest is talk to our billing office about perhaps getting on a budget plan with the electric program, because that can even it out a little more so that you don't have the surprises. It'll mean that you typically have an average bill. They'll look at what you pay over the course of a year and you'll pay that monthly. And then if there's a true up at the end, if it was more expensive or maybe you paid more than you actually owed, you'll get that true up.
Okay.
So those are some things that can help. But thank you for coming to speak with us. Does anybody
thank
else
you.
have anything they want to add?
Well, I just wanted to tell you, thank you for sharing your story and being vulnerable enough to tell us. I know that took a lot of courage, and I want you to know that your story is not missed on any of us. There's just this direct correlation to the things that we want to do, like the swimming pool, but then we don't want to raise taxes anymore either. And so what we're seeing is people come up and say, we're upset that we're not getting this anymore, but we don't want to pay anymore, and inflation is outpacing us. And so these aren't choices that we're making lightly, but there are choices that we've had to make and prioritize. And as you're hearing, and you can turn on the news and hear about AEP and the cost of electricity, this is something that we don't control these rising rates. In fact, we are struggling to address them, and that's why you see us making cuts as well as making some increases in taxation, because that inflation rate is hitting all of us. But the main thing I want you to know is that your story is not lost on us, and I sincerely appreciate your vulnerability to come up and share your personal story with us. Thank you.
Thanks.
Does anyone else have any comments for the public during this time? Well, we really do appreciate folks coming to talk with us, even though they're hard questions and they're things that we may not always have an answer to be able to solve the problem. But we prefer that rather than just on social media, folks do come down and share that with us or reach out to us via our email as well so that we know what's happening and we know how it's impacting people. So thank you again. This time we will close the citizen comment portion of the meeting. And we do need to have a public hearing that has been scheduled. It was duly advertised because we have a fiscal year 2025 school board budget amendment that we needed to address. So at this time, we will open the public hearing. If you have any comments or questions regarding the school board budget amendment, please come down to the podium, state your name for the record, and please use the microphone. Seeing no one making a mad dash for the podium, we will close the public hearing for the school board budget amendment. And we also have a public hearing set for ordinance 1817, which is our general obligation debt restructuring. And we'll explain a little bit more about this. What we are looking to do is to issue $6 million or so in general obligation bonds to restructure a portion of the city's existing debt. As we have struggled with a lot of the financial issues, trying to figure out exactly how we can keep the city moving forward, not raise taxes too much in a single year, not cut things back so that services can't be provided, we've had to try to find a pathway. We have worked with Davenport & Associates, which is our bond counsel, and they have helped us look at the options that are available to the city. And we have worked out a deal to be able to borrow this money at 4.95%, which is a very good interest rate. But bigger than that, we have actually been able to restructure a portion of the city's existing debt so that rather than paying 5% a year new money in debt relief, debt payments, we're actually going to be paying about $68,000 a year on that debt annually. It's not a perfect solution because there aren't any perfect solutions right now, but it is a solution that helps move us there. So having stated all that, I will open the floor for the public hearing for ordinance 1817, the general obligation debt restructuring. And if you have a question or comment, you can come up to the podium, use the microphone. Please state your name for the record. Okay, before I close the hearing, is there anything I left out, Craig, that we probably need to cover regarding that?
No, the only number I heard is that the debt issue is a net present value savings over the 15 years of about $68,000. So
Right.
it's an opportunity. There is some cost, but what we looked at in terms of taking out another revenue anticipation note, the associated debt with another RAND for the upcoming year is way more than $68,000.
Right. And that's what I was trying to share with that, again, it's not a perfect solution, but it actually puts us in a slightly better position than we've been in the last couple of years for the annual payments that we've had to make. And if a council chooses to move forward in different directions over the next few years, if money should become a better revenue stream, there are things that can be done differently. This is something that we've worked on as a council, as a staff, with our debt council, to try to find a path so that, again, you didn't see a tax increase of 40 or 50 cents, you didn't see cuts of $6, $8, $10 million to your city budget, that everything was balanced in a way so that, yes, some things went up, yes, some things were cut, and then we found a way to continue with that. Is there any other comment among council?
I just want to make a comment that this is in lieu of a RAN. So we will be doing this, but not a RAN. I just want to make sure that we clarified and stated that.
And a
as well.
RAN is a revenue anticipation note, which is the type of loan that we've had to take out over the last couple of years. We were first presented this in 2023 as we believed we had a cash flow problem. As that continued, we learned more about the situation, and so we've determined that this is the best course of action for the present time. So again, I'll leave the floor open for just another minute if anybody has any question or comment regarding what we've talked about for the public hearing for the general obligation bond. Okay, seeing no one coming up to the microphone, council, are there any other questions or comments before we move forward? We will close the public hearing and we'll move on to old business. Our first item of old business was the element that we had in the first public hearing, the fiscal year 2025 school board budget amendment. And the school board has requested, by the way, welcome to the members of the school board and our superintendent and Carrie who are here this evening. Thank you all for joining us. The school board has requested to increase their fiscal year 2025 budget from $38,098,270 to $51,890,511, an increase of $13,792,241. That reflects additional funding and expenditures across all 8 of the school system's funds. A summary of the amendment was passed to members of council, and we have reviewed that. And the key thing that we were looking at on behalf of you as citizens of the city of Radford is no additional city general fund dollars are required as part of this $13.7 million. That this is coming, I believe, from other sources that are available to the school system. Since the amount does exceed 1% of the total original city budget appropriation, we've had to have a public hearing, which we had earlier this evening. Council members, do you all have any questions? Is there any comment before we move forward on the budget amendment?
I have a comment. It's not so much related to this. I just wanted to, while we have Todd here and our new superintendent, I would like to, while we have everybody here, remind that we would like to get together and sit down and have some work sessions and get some things moving and talking. So we look forward to working with you guys. And I know Todd's excited to get on board and like to facilitate that. So I don't have any questions per se about this. But while we were all here, I did want to mention that so we can keep it fresh and get that on the books. So, yep. All right. Yep.
Any other questions or comments from members of council? Do we have a motion regarding the school board budget amendment? We have a motion to approve the school board budget amendment in the amount of $13,792,241. Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? Melissa, would you actually call the roll for us?
Yes.
Yes.
Mayor Horton.
Yes.
Apologies.
Okay. Thank you all very much. Thank you to the members of our school board and school administration. We're excited to see the things that can happen for our students and teachers, faculty, and staff at Radford City Public Schools. So thank you all so much. Okay, we do need to look at Ordinance 1870, which is our general obligation debt restructuring. We explained
Mayor, before you advance, do
Yeah.
you want to waive the second reading?
Okay, I didn't know if we needed to do that for that amendment or not. So having heard 4 affirmative votes, we can dispense with the second reading if desired. Is there a motion to dispense with the second reading? We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Thank you for keeping me straight. I appreciate that. Moving on to Ordinance 1817 regarding the general obligation debt restructuring. We mentioned a little bit about what that is and how we're looking at all of the city's debt as part of that. We're working this through the system, and this is in place of a revenue anticipation note. So we have held our public hearing. Council, what is your pleasure on Ordinance 1870 for the general obligation debt restructuring in the area of $6 million?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any further discussion or questions? Would you call the roll, Melissa?
Yeah, if you'll just give me one moment, we went out of order of the agenda, so I am catching up.
I'm sorry, that was on my memo, and I apologize.
Okay. So my apologies, Mr. Gillespie and Mrs. Foster. Did you second?
Yes.
Thank you. Mrs. R. Tripp. Yes. Mrs. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie? Mr. Wolford?
Yes.
Mayor Horton?
Yes, and I apologize for getting us out of order. I had 2 different lists that we're going through here. There's a lot going on, folks, and I do appreciate your all's patience as we work through it. Okay, we do need to have a discussion about the READY grant. And before we enter into this, I do have a declaration I need to make as part of a statement regarding conflict of interest. I've worked with Mr. Bedsall regarding conflict of interest. I work at Radford University. I earn a salary of more than $5,000 there. My income is not affected by the Radford University Foundation. However, the Radford University does have an investment in the hotel project with the Radford University Foundation, and as such, that creates a conflict of interest. We have checked with our counsel in Richmond regarding ethics and conflict of interest, and as this declaration allows me to participate in the discussion, I am abstaining from the vote as I have that conflict, and I abstained from the vote in a previous year as we considered the READY agreement. Mike, I think that covers us. Don't you agree? Okay. All right. Thank you. The Radford Economic Development Authority entered into a performance agreement dated January 1st, 2023 with the RU Foundation Hotel Land LLC under the Real Estate Development Incentive Grant Program. The EDA has completed its review of the request and determined the hotel has met the requirements of the agreement for grant consideration for grant year number 2. And on February 20th, 2025, the EDA passed a motion recommending City Council consider appropriation of the funds for the READY grant in the amount of $128,686.37. This was tabled twice, March 24th and May 12th, and we are having action on it tonight. I do have a statement that I'd like to read regarding this. The Radford Economic Development Incentive Real Estate Program the Radford Economic Development Incentive, READY program, was established to promote economic development within the city of Radford. The READY program provides for certain eligible businesses, in other words, new businesses and existing businesses that are expanding, to receive tax equivalent grants of up to 80% of the real property taxes paid in a grant year in the form of a READY grant. The amount of the READY grant depends upon the level of investment by the business and the terms of a performance agreement. The READY program is an economic development incentive program of the Radford Economic Development Authority that is supported by appropriations from the Radford City Council. According to the terms of the READY program, all READY grants are subject to appropriation of funds by City Council. The Radford EDA and the Radford University Foundation and the city entered into the performance agreement effective January 1st, 2023 for a READY grant related to the construction of the Highlander Hotel property in the city. The agreement with the foundation outlines a 10-year grant period with eligibility for reimbursement of 60% of the real property taxes assessed against the Highlander Hotel, plus 20% of the combined meals and transient occupancy taxes remitted by the operator of the hotel to the city, up to a maximum total equivalent to 80% of the real property taxes assessed against the hotel. In other words, the maximum amount of the READY grant in any grant year cannot exceed 80% of the real property taxes assessed against and paid by the hotel. This reimbursement is subject to meeting various requirements of the grant and review and approval of the annual funding request by the EDA and the City Council. Also under the performance agreement, all obligations of the EDA and the city, including approval of any READY grant, are subject to appropriation of funds by City Council on an annual basis. The foundation has submitted a request to the EDA for a READY grant for the current year in the amount of $128,686. The EDA has reviewed the request and determined that the foundation is eligible for a grant in accordance with the terms of the performance agreement. In addition, the EDA has submitted a recommendation and request to City Council to appropriate funds to the EDA to support the grant. The city finds itself in an extremely challenging financial situation this fiscal year, and due to these circumstances, would like to propose that the EDA and Foundation discuss an amendment to the performance agreement that would defer consideration of a READY grant till the next fiscal year and extend the term of the performance agreement by an additional year. This would allow the foundation to be eligible to receive the number of years of grant awards as originally contemplated, subject to the requirements listed in the performance agreement. The City Council is supportive of the READY program and recognizes the important role the program provides in support of economic development efforts within the city. The city is grateful for the investment made by the foundation with the Highlander Hotel property and has every intention of supporting the READY grant program next year and in future years. So this issue has been discussed with the foundation CEO and staff and EDA leadership, and there is a general consensus with these terms and what we have discussed. I think all of us on council do recognize the need for economic development and do not want incentive programs to end for the EDA or the city, but for this year to pause the READY grant agreement with the foundation. And with such pause, I will ask, is there a motion for council to exercise its authority under the performance agreement to not make the appropriation to the EDA for this grant year and request that the EDA and foundation develop an amendment to the agreement that would extend its term by an additional year to allow the foundation to be eligible to receive the number of years of grant awards as originally contemplated, subject to the other terms of the agreement? Do we have a motion to do so?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion, council? Would you call the roll, Melissa?
Mrs. Artrip?
Yes.
Mrs. Foster?
Yes.
Mr. Gillespie?
Yes.
Mr. Wolford?
Yes.
Mayor Horton?
Abstain. Okay, thank you all very much. We will continue to have discussion. I am so thankful to all of the members that have been involved with this from the Radford Foundation, from the Economic Development Authority, and everybody that has worked to try to pull everything together. Moving forward under additional new business, would like us to consider Ordinance 1818, which is a pole relocation agreement. The City of Radford maintains electrical poles, wires, and related facilities in the Norfolk Southern right-of-way. To support the installation of a layover track in the future for Amtrak, the City and Norfolk Southern have agreed to the relocation of one of the electrical poles and related wires and facilities. The ordinance is needed to approve terms and conditions for the project as outlined in that agreement. Craig, do you have anything else you want to add regarding the pole relocation? Okay. Do we have a motion to move forward with Ordinance 1818? Do we have a motion for approval?
Second?
We have a motion?
Sorry,
Oh,
motion.
A motion?
Sorry, got ahead of
Do we have a
myself.
second? Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. We are looking to appoint folks to work on our boards and commissions. We have several appointments as well as those that are interested in serving. Council, have you all had a chance to review this, and do you want to consider that this evening? I get that, but what would you like to do this evening? And I've got to get to that part of my notes because we've had a lot of business to manage this evening.
I can go ahead and start with the Rec Commission. I do think that Joe Johnson and Nancy have asked to serve again, and they've done a good job. They've been an asset to our commission and have done well, and they're willing and interested to serve again. So I'd feel comfortable going ahead and making a motion to reappoint them for another term.
Would you all like to do these board by board, or would you rather do them all together?
Together, but let me
Yep.
ask, did I read it correctly that there were actually 3 people that wanted to be on the library, but we only needed the 2 that, or am I wrong there?
So we have an interested citizen in Carol Hurd. I think Jenny doesn't want to continue to serve, so I don't think we have a conflict there.
Okay. Yeah, then we
Okay.
can take the proposed.
So going back to the Agency on Aging, we have 2 positions, the regular position and an alternate position. Sally Ann Stapleton is interested in serving again for the Agency on Aging, and we have a vacant position for the alternate. Do we have any nominations for that alternate position? Okay, we will consider that to still be open. For the Economic Development Authority, Jeff Cumberland, his term is up. He has expressed an interest in serving another term. Do we have any other nominations for the EDA? For the Library Board, Joshua Osmobor has expressed interest in serving another term at the end of his term. He is the teen representative on the board. And Jenny Webb, who has served as our regular representative, has decided not to serve again, but Carol Hurd has expressed interest. So do we have a motion, or do we want to include Carol as our nominee for the regular representative?
Yes.
Okay. And then the Recreation Commission may have been what you were thinking about, because I don't think we have an additional position available. I think Joe and Nancy are interested, Sarah is also interested, but I'm not sure we have an open slot.
Right, that's what it was. Yeah.
And we've heard Seth's recommendation for that. Is there any change? Does anyone want to consider Sarah instead of Nancy or Joe? Okay. And Sarah, we do appreciate you. We will find a way to get you connected either with the Recreation Commission or some other board and commission to keep you connected with the city. For the Building Code Board of Appeals, we have a 1-year term, Chris Quessenberry. His term is up, but he is interested in serving again. Are there any other nominees? And for the Zoning Board of Appeals, John Geeson's term is up. He's interested in serving again. Are there any other nominees? Okay. Having heard the slate of nominees as has been presented, do we have a motion to accept this citizen appointment slate for this year?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second?
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay, thank you all very much. To all the citizens who serve on the boards and commissions, we are so thankful for all of you. The work you do helps make this city better every single day. And if you are not currently serving and you're interested, you can talk with one of us. You can talk with a staff member. You can let us know by email that you're interested, and we will try to help find a way to keep you connected. We have our calendar to look at for 2025-26, and as of right now, the regular meetings call for 18 meetings. Now, that's typically 2 a month, with some months like November, December, and May, because we have holidays, we only have 1 meeting in those months, and then we have no second meeting in June, July, and August. Now, these are regular meetings. For the past couple of years, we've had significantly more than 18 meetings because we have had a lot of business that we've worked through, and should we have business, we would have special meetings. Council, do you want to adopt the schedule as presented for the 2025-26 year?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And then our last item of business for this evening, we have an appropriation ordinance 1802.30, the New River Resource Authority litter grant, and they distribute a grant, a $5,000 grant annually to localities who apply for litter management programs. We want to beautify the city, continue to improve litter. The funds are to be used for records retention and shredding, adopt-a-spot programming, and other environmental activities. We received $5,000 this year, no match required, so this is all new money coming into the city. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 1802.30?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, please respond by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, Mr. Meadows, what do you have for us this evening?
Just a couple of things this evening, Mayor and Council. First, I want to commend you guys. When we looked at the agenda and staff looked at the agenda, we were talking about the fact that this would probably be a lengthy meeting and challenging. You guys have done your homework. You've asked a lot of questions ahead of the meeting to make sure you understood the issues of the agenda, and I want to commend you for that, because I have worked with local governments, not recently, but way back in my career, where when you looked at an agenda like this, you could think, man, I'm going to be there half the night. But you guys do your homework. I don't think the public has any idea some weeks the challenges, the issues that flow through the various areas, and I just want to thank you for that. It makes the manager's job easier. It'll make Todd's job easier. And speaking of Todd, Todd, we're glad to have you with us. We're excited about having Todd join the city on July 21st. My plan for the remaining 4+ weeks that I'm here is to be working with staff and to be working with council on making sure that Todd has a smooth transition into the role. There's a lot of challenges, but there's also a lot of opportunities, and Todd and I have already had some of those conversations, and I know he's got some big ideas and some things that I think will really make a difference for Radford moving forward. And I'm excited to work with him over the next couple of weeks, and I will be glad to continue to help once he's on board as well, to make sure that everything continues to move onward and upward. So again, Todd, welcome this evening. I did want to recognize, our departments do good work every day, and sometimes we talk about the challenges, but we don't talk about some of the good things that are going on. And one example, and Don Green, I didn't see him. Don's not here tonight, but Don, from our water and sewer folks, you may be aware that we've had a fairly significant sinkhole that opened up over off of Stockton Street, and it created some pretty significant challenges for stormwater and for sewer flow. We had an engineer's estimate that was done prior to me getting here that project would be a little over $400,000 to address. Don and his team said, you know what? We can handle that. We'll get that worked in, and it has taken a little longer than if we'd have contracted out. But I got an email from Don today, and it looks like that project should be wrapping up in the next couple of weeks. It's been a significant amount of work, but instead of paying a contractor $400,000, the city's done it with our crews for about $150,000. So that's tremendous savings, and it's just another example of a director seeing an opportunity and say, hey, if you'll give me the support with the materials and give me a little time to get this done, we can get this done. Stuff like that happens all the time too. We don't do nearly as good a job as we need to pointing out all the positives, and that is one thing I want to talk to Todd as well. With my time as interim, most of that time was spent in the throes of budget, which there's not a lot of time to get out and do a lot of the other things, but there's a lot of good going here as well. The last thing I wanted to mention, and you took care of part of that this evening, I know that we said once a month we would have a financial update on where things stand. Getting some of these items addressed on the agenda this evening have taken a lot of time, but one thing that you did with this approval of the debt issuance, it will allow the city not to have to borrow an additional $4 million going into July for cash flow. This debt restructuring and funding takes care of that issue. It provides the funding to pay off the existing RAN, Revenue Anticipation Note. It also gives us some flexibility with some cash flow going into July that hopefully we can make sure we've got the schools paid for. We can make a dent on the AEP bills. The AEP bills are going to be a challenge, I'll be honest. Right now, we have 5 bills. The good news is that as of last week, we had $5 million in the bank. We paid a nominal amount of payables last week because we wanted to make sure, once this got approved tonight, that we could estimate the cash from now to the end of the month. We should be able to, if everything goes as I'm hoping, we should be able to take care at least of 2 of the AEP bills before year end, and all the other payables are current. Occasionally I hear somebody talking about, well, the city hadn't paid a bill, or the city hadn't paid this bill. When we've researched those, generally it's been a situation where somebody sent an invoice to the city and 2 weeks later they were saying they hadn't been paid. Most invoices are net 30, so we try to, we don't purposefully delay invoices, but they're, you know, if you send the city a bill on Friday, don't expect to check the following Wednesday. That's just common business. But we are making headway, and as I've shared with several of you, between now and the end of this month, I want to give you a much more in-depth, here's the cash that we have, here's the additional cash coming in, here's what we're intending to pay, so as you get questions, you can answer that as well. And that's all I have this evening.
Well, thank you, and I'll just add to that, thank you so much for all the work that you've done to help us learn more about our financial picture and to share that with the community. And we've had discussions with Todd. One of the things during his interview that impressed all of us on council was that his fiscal work is truly remarkable. And I think the transparency he's going to be able to provide us and the path that he's going to help us discern will be incredible as we move forward. So we're excited about that. We'll continue to share the story, and we're continuing to move forward. Seth, what do you have for us this evening?
Sure, I have several things tonight. One, today we were able, Kelly, David, and I were able to attend. Morgan Griffith came and spoke with us at the Highlander Hotel about some economic development opportunities and some things that they're working on at the federal level that we hope that the city will be able to tap into. Specifically, the West Radford Commerce Park and some opportunities with the brownfield infield site, and really tunneling some manufacturing and industry to us. So hopeful for that, and hopeful that he's able to, him and all state legislators on all parties are able to help us move that property forward. So it was good to have that discussion with him today. I also wanted to tie in and thank our Public Works. I reached out to Craig about 2 issues that citizens had brought to me throughout the last 2 weeks, and they responded very quickly. I had both citizens reach out to me and say thank you. So if you could pass along that thank you to their crews for that really quick response, and we really do have some great people working for us. So wanted to pass that along. Wanted to update, yesterday we had a meeting for Planning Commission with Melissa. We went through our emails, and I think it was 2019 we started the zoning ordinance, and finally the end is starting to get in sight. So I think we'll all there's still some work to be done, but Melissa hopes we can drag it out for 2 more years. But but we're going to try.
That look, you just got shot.
But we're going to try to wrap it up for her. But no, it's going well. We have a good group, and so Melissa, thank you for all you do with that and working with AFI at the regional commission. So that is moving along. I did want to kind of tie up, because there has been so many questions with the READY grant. It's not being funded this year. And we have asked that it be back-ended, where hopefully we're in a better position for the future. We believe in economic development. We hope to see better days and future industry coming here. This year, you know, our financial situation, we just couldn't. So, you know, we cannot do it this year, and we didn't. But we do believe in it, and we're glad that we have a program that we can use to hopefully incentivize businesses to Radford, because I think there's a lot of opportunity in a lot of places, and so I just wanted to make sure we were clear on that. Then I also wanted to, while I had the opportunity, thank Craig as he served in this interim role. You have been just great. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. You've been a friend and a mentor to all of us, but you've got in the weeds and done some really good work for us. And I've had the pleasure to work first with David, great guy, work with you, great guy, and I'm very looking forward to working with Todd, who I already know is going to be a great guy. We've been very wanted to have that. So wanted to, while we're going to keep you around for a little bit, but I wanted to give you the opportunity to know how thankful we are for what you've done. The city of Radford is thankful. You've put in a lot of time and effort, and you thought you might be getting a part-time gig. I don't know that it quite worked out like that. Yeah. But thank you for all you've done, and appreciate all the help with the transition with Todd. And Todd, he's made us all feel good about welcoming you here and has sang your praises. So we're looking forward to working with you. So welcome to you, and that chair will soon be yours. So that's all I got.
Guy, what do you have for us?
Well, I just want to take a few minutes to thank our staff and employees who have decided to stay with us during these hard times. I know it's been difficult, and I just appreciate their loyalty and their service that they've given to this city, and hope that they can continue to do that. To those who have left us, I want them to know that we appreciate their service, that I hold no ill feelings. I know they've had to go through some hard decisions for themselves and their families, and I just wish them well in their new endeavors and thank them for their service over the years. And that's all.
Thank you, Guy. Jesse, what do you have? Are we good? Okay. Jesse, what do you have for
Okay.
us?
I've had a busy few weeks, so I'm gonna run down this as quickly as I can. And ditto to basically what everyone else has said up here, so not to be redundant, yes, all of this. I met with Rachel at Radford Coffee Company. I wanted to share with you that they have been giving donations internationally, but they are pulling those donations into our community, and they're going to be giving specifically to New River Community Action. And she's dreaming up a zombie 5K in October, so we may want to look at that and see what we can do to support that, to raise some additional funds.
I will definitely support that.
Fun.
Yes,
Yeah.
that sounds fun.
Other than the whole, like, 5K part. The rest sounds wonderful. We had an amphitheater meeting. What I really liked about this meeting is they really are still looking at going forward. They're talking about things like investing in the Trail Connection Project. That's something that's really important to the overall vision. They also wanted to talk about the need to have weekend festivals, so we bring more people in using our hotels and eating at our restaurants, so that's going to be one of the focuses of the amphitheater. We're still in some beginning stages, but these are some goals that they have to support the community. I had CPMT meeting. I also had a half-day training so I can be a better member. We had an awards ceremony for the city employees and for the time that they have given to the community and to the city, and I want to thank every single one of them for all that they're currently doing. I did have someone mention on Sundale that when they're walking on the path that there are some branches that are overgrown, so I promised that I would bring that up and see if we might be able to address that. I had a Heritage Foundation meeting. I met with Charlie at the rec center, and I really appreciated his information in regards to FEMA and how that works, how the reimbursement works and the payments up front. So I want to thank him for educating me on all of that. Another thing that we had talked about with the chamber is the signage that we were looking at having the chamber direct and try to get people to to donate towards, to have signs there. We are actually now going to give that to Charlie. He wants to take that over, and he's raring to go. So you'll be looking, businesses, Charlie will probably be knocking on your door soon. We had a Field of Honor opening ceremony on Memorial Day that was absolutely beautiful. Chamber golf outing, and it was a great day, and I rode in the golf cart and represented, and that's about all I did, was ride the golf cart. We had the animal shelter ribbon cutting, of course, the farmer's market, hit that. We've been very busy conducting interviews for the city manager. I don't think that the hour, I don't even know how many hours that's been, but it's been time well spent. I attended the noon Rotary. That was interesting, a lot of good information exchange there, and I hope to be invited back again. A DSS meeting. I'm not sure if I said Heritage Foundation, but that. And then I also attended the change of command at the Arsenal, which was a very moving ceremony. And that happens a little bit more regularly than I like. I hated to see the current commander going, but the new commander has assured me that she wants to also be an integral part of our community and our city. And that's about it in the last few weeks.
It's a lot.
So, yes, and again, just Craig, everything everyone said, all of those things. You have given us really a pathway and transparency, so we at least know that there's a pathway that we need to be going down. So just thank you. I know you have not always been in the position to deliver the news that we want to hear, but you've done it with grace, but also with blunt honesty, which is truly what we wanted and what all we could ask for. And to our new city manager, you've been at Arms Bay, but you're fair game soon, and then you're going to hear from all of us. And I'm looking forward to meeting you one-on-one as well to hear more about some ideas and visions you have. And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Kelly, what do you have for us?
Like how you said that's fair game. Fair game soon, Todd. Again, ditto to everything that everybody has said. I don't think I could have said it any better than you guys. We are really appreciative of all of our employees that are sticking out with us right now. No hard feelings to the ones that have left. Everybody has to make decisions, that will benefit their lives. They've put in a lot of good years with Radford, and we're appreciative, but we're very appreciative of the people that are wanting to stay and stick it out. And we do really have the best employees. School has the best employees. We have the best city employees. We really are just a very resilient, strong community, and we will get through any hardship that comes our way as long as we're working together. Special thanks to Public Works. It sounds like they did an amazing job taking on that huge project and saving us a lot of money. We really appreciate them, and Don heading that up. Thank you to Morgan Griffith for coming and doing a luncheon. It was really nice to hear him speak today, and he's such a huge advocate for Brownstone's property, so he's going to make sure that we get any extra funding that we need for that. I wanted to do a plug for Community Fest, which I think was one of the things that wasn't mentioned on 8/23. Melissa and her team are working really hard for that, so we appreciate it. I had a joint commission meeting last week, just some general things we were discussing, but I did ask that they go ahead and queue up an RU representative to come to our meeting in July to discuss what activities are available for our citizens, where we can park, what restaurants are available, just to make sure that we know that those resources are available. At the Morgan Griffin luncheon, I did have 3 different people come up to me and say how happy they were that we were bringing Todd on board, that he had worked with you specifically, some of them meeting with you several times a month, and they were just really excited about all your skills that you're bringing to the table. Six Sigma is one that I'm definitely excited about you bringing in and increasing efficiency and that kind of thing. So welcome. You'll, like Jesse said, you'll be fair game soon. So, and Craig, I thank you every time I get public comments or my comments. You've been amazing, working way many hours, way more than what you're scheduled to, and you've been a great mentor to all of us. You've brought definitely a really nice, refreshing perspective to everything that we're looking at, and we appreciate you wanting to stay on and help a little bit, steer the ship a little bit as we keep going down the road. So I look forward to the financial update that we have. Thank you for looking at all the different ways that we can handle our debt. That's definitely something that's refreshing to have a little bit better plan for that. and just generally appreciative for everybody up here and everybody that continues to walk this path with us.
Thank you very much. It is a busy, busy time all the time in Radford. There are wonderful things happening every day. We've had a lot of significant activity here recently, and I wanted to mention that Boys State is visiting Radford University. They're here this week, so if you're around the campus area, you'll see 600 young men from across the Commonwealth who are learning about local government, who are learning about state and federal government, and trying to build a government within their group this week. We had the opportunity to speak with them some this week. And it really gives me hope for our future that we have people who are so inspired that they want to spend part of their summer learning how to lead, learning how to help each other accomplish things, and learning how to work in their home communities. So it is a wonderful program. I'm thankful to the American Legion for sponsoring that, the Virginia State Police, and all of the people who helped make that happen. That's a wonderful event. I also wanted to mention the staff. We constantly have examples in our community where staff have stepped up and gone above and beyond. In addition to the examples given here, I've noticed that our streets are getting in better shape. We have a team of people going around making sure that potholes and damaged areas are being repaired. If you have something that you see, let us know. But I'm so thankful to our folks for doing that. We have the best water in the world, and we are so fortunate to have the team working on that as well. And we had an issue this past week where someone had a problem with their trash cans, and sanitation made sure they were taken care of once they were contacted. Just incredible work that takes place all the time. That doesn't just happen. That is engendered by a sense of service to this community and to the citizens that live here. And we want to say thank you, even though we're not able to do all the physical things that we'd like to do to show you how much we appreciate you through rewards at this time with money and other benefits. We are so thankful for you, and we want to share your stories and help folks know how much we appreciate you. Seth and I were able to attend a 250th birthday celebration for the Army at the Radford Army Ammunition Plant. They had a special flag-raising ceremony with the flag that had flown over the Capitol, and a wonderful reminder of how this area is so vital to our national and global defense, and just a really terrific ceremony. Got to talk a little bit with Commander Huff, who is the new commander at the Arsenal, and she's going to come speak to us here pretty soon. She is a dynamic speaker, a go-getter, a great leader, and she's going to do wonderful things there. She has big shoes to fill because Commander Humphreys has been an incredible leader at the Arsenal, has done so much to reach across the New River Valley, to reach across the region, to connect us, and to see what we can do together. And we're so appreciative of those folks for everything that they do. In addition to what's already been mentioned about the program with Morgan Griffith today, one of the pieces that he mentioned is something I really would like to stress as well. He has been working at the federal level for the city of Radford and Pulaski County to get a $1.9 million earmark. It hasn't happened yet, but he's working on that for the work on the trestle that crosses the New River down near Radford University at the terminus of the Riverway on the east end and connects over to the golf course and the area at Heron's Landing. That will be a game changer for us, being able to expand the Riverway, being able to connect these communities. It's part of the Valley to Valley Trail Initiative. It's a big piece, and at the federal and state level, we're hoping to have support to make that happen. So much has happened in the last couple years as we've connected the Dedman Center area and the rest of the Riverway. That used to be separate and not really functional for those that weren't members of the university community. That has changed, and hopefully this is going to be a great way to where we'll have a unique experience in Radford and Fairlawn of crossing the river and being able to connect the bikeway, walkway with assets that are in Pulaski County. So that's a really exciting tourism piece and quality of life piece for the city, and we're so thankful to the congressman for helping us with that and to all of the partners for working on that. I did want to mention also on Saturday, August 23rd, one of my favorite events for literacy volunteers. It used to be called Potter in the Park, but they have evolved that to More Magic. and it is going to be Once Upon a Race, a fantastical 5K for literacy. That's Saturday, August 23rd at 8:30 at Bissett Park. As soon as you finish there, you can come up to the Community Fest and have a great time. So I hope you'll register. Got my registration ready. Council, I invite you to join me. I'll probably be walking the 5K, but we'll go 5K together and get that done. I know Kelly and her daughter had a good experience, I hope, last year as part of it, and it's been
Yeah,
a
we were
a positive.
Gryffindor ready, all the way.
There you go. But more of the good things that are happening in Radford to get things moving forward. I am so appreciative of everybody who's worked so hard on things, but I want to say just a few things about our council up here. None of these jobs are really easy, because we have to try to solve the problems of the community, and many times it's just a whole litany of less than desirable choices. We've had a lot of challenges thrown at us in the last few years, definitely a lot of challenges in the last 6 to 12 months. Every member sitting up here has really stepped up and done an incredible job of trying to work together, find solutions that can be supported, and move us together as a community. To go through a challenging budget is one thing. To go through a challenging budget and try to hire a new city manager is another thing. To try to figure out a way to address a debt issue is a third thing. To try to deal with an economic incentive that we fully support but are unable to fund this year is another thing. All of those pieces have been something that everybody has worked so hard on, and I just want to say thank you to all of you, because this is really crucial that we work together to solve our problems. This isn't a right or left, up or down problem. This is a Radford set of problems that we're working on together. I'm thankful to our school board and our school administration for being here tonight. Together, I think we can find a path forward, and as Seth mentioned, I think we're going to have some discussions this fall about what things look like as we move forward, and as we welcome Todd to the city of Radford, to Bobcat Nation. It is going to be a great time as we move forward. We'll never be challenge-free. No community is. But how we address them is everything. And I think we're moving forward together in a positive direction to build a better tomorrow for Radford. And we're so thankful for all of you. And with that, before 8 o'clock, we'll call to adjourn. Do we have a motion to say goodbye? So moved. So moved. Good night. Thank you.